Everyone, I want to welcome in Mike Pollock, and I want to give a special announcement saying that without my friend Tamaki on Twitter, I wouldn't have got this interview to go through. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So anyway, I guess I'll start it out. What's it like voicing one of the greatest villains in Sonic the Hedgehog?
It is more fun than humans should be allowed to have. It's great fun and a great honor.
Do you have any favorite lines?
One of the joys of voiceover is that I don't have to remember lines. Everything is on a script in front of me and they go in one ear and out the other because I got to focus on the next line.
Awesome. How did you get the role of Robotnik/Eggman?
Just like every other role, pretty much, I auditioned. The producers of Kirby Right Back at You knew me from my work on Kirby, and they got assigned to produce Sonic X at 4Kids. And the producer was very interested in having me read for Dr. Eggman. So he sent me clips of Dean Bristow to voice match. I went home, studied Dean Bristow, and then I went in and did my Dean Bristow impression for my audition. Took about 2 or 3 callbacks before I guess Sega was finally convinced, and there I was.
What do you think of the other portrayals of Dr. Eggman, like Jim Carrey? What do you think of him?
Well, one of the things about being an actor is the professional courtesy of not judging your fellow actors, because we are judged constantly. Every audition, every booking, every review, every critic, every fan. So I will let actors' other performances stand alone.
That's actually a good callback there.
Thank you.
Well, what's some of your favorite roles that you've actually done?
Any role that makes me laugh makes me happy. Meat from Ultimate Muscle comes to mind. Bonaparte and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX comes to mind. The Sonic Boom series is much maligned to folks who haven't really tried it, but chock full of comedy, and that made me laugh. But also, I'm an actor, so I'm happy to portray anything that anyone would like me to try to portray.
Oh, that actually does work out really well. What was it like working in Ultimate Muscle?
It was fun, one of my earliest dub experiences. Not the first, but one of the first. And a lot of fun. Eric Stewart, a fine director. Didn't get to work with many other colleagues at the time because we all recorded separately. But Eric and I and the engineer had lots of fun.
What was it? I believe that Ultimate Muscle doesn't have an official DVD release yet. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate because if you missed it, you missed it, unless you're looking at an illegal bootleg somewhere online. But I would firmly like the world to see my work. So let's hope somebody fixes that sometime soon.
So, anyway, how did you capture in Dr. Eggman? What's it been like playing him for years and years, even after, say, it's been a long time since recording for like Sonic X? You're still currently recording for Eggman, aren't you?
Whenever they ask me to. It's not nearly as frequent as people seem to think. Maybe 4 or 5 days a year, if that, if I'm lucky. But I'm delighted whenever they call me to work.
I actually enjoyed you in Sonic Generations. I think that was probably my little favorite Eggman performance because you got to channel, say, the classic version and then the current version.
Thank you. Yes, that was fun. That was me reading down the page, just one line after the other, and then they made the magic and separated it to where the voices should be coming from.
Sounds like a lot of work, actually.
Yeah, it's fun. The work is looking for the work. The work is the auditioning. Actually booking the work, that is playtime.
How did you get into voice acting?
I started as a kid loving theater and loving radio. When it came time to choose a career, despite dabbling in various school and community theater as a kid, radio seemed a little more stable than theater. Turns out not so much. They're both equally unstable. So when radio kicked me to the curb after several years toiling behind the microphone, I was able to pull my acting experience together, make a demo reel, and transition to voiceover. So I've been doing that full time since 2008 and part time since about 2000.
So, whatever happened with 4Kids? I'm just honestly wondering, why did they kind of go under?
Businesses come and go, and unfortunately, running a business is kind of tough. So various market forces and various lawsuits and stuff made it untenable to be in business. I was only a contractor there, so I don't know all the inside details, but I know that at one point they stopped calling and I stopped showing up.
So, was there ever a character you hated voicing?
No, because the sheer joy of booking an audition out of competing against tens or dozens or hundreds of people and being asked to come in and play and do my acting thing, it's a joy. So I love getting to perform. Performing is my joy.
What's the hardest thing about playing any of the characters that you do?
Vocal strain, yelling at the top of your lungs sounds painful because it is. So we are currently, as an organization of actors, fighting to make sure that we are properly compensated for vocally stressful sessions. But yeah, if it sounds like I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, it's because I'm yelling at the top of my lungs.
So I do have one question. I was watching Sonic 2, the movie, and I swear one of the robots sounded just like your voice. Was that you by chance, or
I've been nowhere near the two films.
ah, that's a missed opportunity because that'd be a great reference for the for the whole Sonic lore anyway.
That's out of my hands. If they want me, they'll call. They haven't called.
How do you feel when people say that your version of Eggman is their favorite?
That's awfully flattering, but again, it's a personal choice, and there's room enough for everyone. So I don't have a monopoly. Monopoly. Thank you. I don't have a monopoly on any character I play. We are actors. We play a role, just like thousands of people have played Hamlet. I'm just the guy currently, occasionally sounding like Dr. Eggman.
Me, I actually had a discussion with a friend online. I pretty much just told him because he requested me do a video that says, "Well, why don't you rank the Dr. Robotnik Eggman performances?" And I'm like, I don't know if I can because there isn't a bad one.
It's different flavors of the same thing, and there
I mean,
are everyone's can have their preference.
there's Long John Bardley or Baldry, if I pronounced that wrong, who
Well,
made the character over the top and extremely funny. Then there's Jim Cummings, who just made him terrifying. Then there's
well,
your version, which gives a really good happy medium to me because he sounds threatening and can be funny at the same time.
it's all based on what the director and producer want, and we as actors try to give the performance that they like, so they let us lead.
It all sounds so interesting.
It
Have
is.
you ever had any bad experiences doing any voiceover? Or...
Then not all directors are great, so I've had some bad directors, and I've had to take the lead and make sure that I'm giving them a performance that I think the character deserves. Obviously, they ultimately have the final say, and they will choose the takes they want. So I can only hope that they have chosen the takes that I think they want, but that's beyond my control.
That's very true.
Mm.
Is there any maybe least favorite versions or whatever of the character of Eggman that you play that you didn't care for your performance at the time?
There's the high-pitched ho 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 laugh that people seem to love that I inherited because it was what was there to match the video. And if it were me, I wouldn't have chosen that. But at that point, the choice is not up to me. So I just hope that I've given a performance that the director and producer like and fans ultimately like. But not my choice. If it was, I wouldn't have chosen that.
What do you think of Sonic Boom?
Made me laugh. The recording sessions were more fun than I have had in a long time. And too bad you couldn't have been there. But we had
Oh,
more fun recording, and I hope that translated to a lot of fun when you watch it back.
well, since it was actually not a Japanese show, technically I don't think it is. I could kind of see the chemistry because I just watched a few episodes not too long ago, just before I started the review, and I was just watching it for fun. I could tell like the cast was having a good time, especially Travis's Knuckles and etc. It all looked like a pretty good run of the mill. Do you have anyone like a preferable Sonic? Like,
I choosing favorites among anything I do is always a challenge. My favorite, the favorite thing I love to do is perform, and I love to perform with talented people. So anytime I get to work with talented people, either together or asynchronously, as most of our dub work is, it's always a pleasure. Boom was nice because it was ensemble style. It's not usually the case with the stuff we do. So it's nice to be able to work real time with people for a change. But even when we're recording separately, it's still wonderful to hear it put together and played back.
so with Boom, you all got to be in the same room together, right?
We were in the same space digitally, if not personally. They were in LA most of the time. I was in New York most of the time. They would fly me out for occasional special occasions, but usually we were just together on headphones in real time, kind of talking, not unlike Zoom, except with no video.
That sounds like fun. I mean, I did notice that there was some funny thing in Sonic Boom. It kind of made me laugh, but now that I look at it, you know, I'm trying to think of it. It was when they were making a big deal when Sonic says something about a character's feet design or something. I
Mhm.
knew exactly who he was referencing when he said
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, a lot of fan service references for your enjoyment.
Oh yeah, that's why I like shows that are sort of. Now I'm a big anime buff. Don't get me wrong, I love anime, but when it comes to like when it's made in America, I guess it's the way to say it. You're able to fluctuate and put in some of the references that you want to do, like say the Adventures of Sonic. They were able to do that and make the references to it. I always
Mhm.
enjoy that when a show is being done that way.
Mhm. Yep, I enjoy every single opportunity, but every single opportunity is different and yet the same. Yeah. Never a dull moment in what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. I could always tell within your performance range, anyhow, you always sound like you're having a good time playing the lovable doctor.
Yippee's working.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's always a fantastic performance to me. Sonic X has some really great moments to me, and I watched it a lot as a teenager. I'm about to step into it and rewatch it again, so I'm excited for this one.
Oh, enjoy the Dean Bristow at the beginning, which transitioned to the current stuff by the end. But the first few episodes very Dean Bristow heavy.
Oh yeah, I do notice like a lot of references that they make. What's your opinion on some of the editing that they had to do with the shows?
One thing about Four Kids is that they were appealing to not only American audiences, but they had to get by the American censors on the Fox network. So a lot of stuff that is okay in Japan, not so okay in the States. So in order to get stuff cleared to broadcast on American TV, they had to make some changes. And that's just business.
So if they actually redubbed Sonic X for an uncut version, uncut format, would you come back to play Eggman again?
I very rarely turn down work opportunities, but somebody would have to be willing to finance that. And that would be pricey.
Yeah, mostly it would either be Viz Media or Funimation that would probably do that.
Mhm. We can only hope, but who knows what the future holds.
I would love to see an uncut version, though I'm not complaining. I still watch it in English either way because there's a lot of memorable stuff there. Your Eggman, Jason Griffith's Sonic, Dan Green's Knuckles.
And so glad you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of friends hooked onto it. So,
Cool.
do you ever have any good convention memories? Like, ever see anybody dressed up as Eggman?
Yes, there have been the occasional Eggman cosplay. All very impressive. More time and energy than I'm willing to invest to do it myself. But I'm glad to see that other people have that kind of free time and expertise to do so. Folks at conventions have always been nice, dropping off all sorts of gifts, artwork, and lovely memories to share. And fantastic. I hope to be post-pandemic appearing at conventions sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be nice to be able to go to conventions again. It's been a long time.
Mhm.
Uh, anyhow, I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was. I always get into that when I do that.
Gotcha.
Anyhow, what's your opinion on your character from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? Now, me, I actually enjoyed the character quite a bit.
It was a very interesting departure from stuff I've done before. A little bit of Harvey Firestein turned into a little bit of Bonaparte, and he made me laugh in his eccentricities.
Did you add any of Eggman's personality to him?
No, I try and keep characters separate because Eggman belongs to Sega and shouldn't really be appearing somewhere where Sega wouldn't want him to be. So I'm the actor. I'm creating as unique a character as possible.
Now, what was it like playing Meat from Ultimate Muscle?
Meat was great fun. He was basically inspired by every New York cab driver, truck driver I've ever seen, met, observed, and he was just very cathartic. Get out a lot of negative yelly energy get that out in the booth for positive gain.
That's always a good time to hear. I mean, I always enjoyed Ultimate Muscle, and it's a shame that it didn't get on DVD, like I said.
No,
I'm hoping someday somebody puts it out there, kind of like the Tokyo Mew Mew series and stuff. They kind of need
sure.
official releases.
We can only hope. I hope the masters exist somewhere.
They've got to. So, has there ever been, say, any character that has really damaged your voice? Like you made it so it made it so hard to do his voice that it would stress your voice out so much that it felt like you couldn't talk.
There was a game that I was one of the NPCs in, basically, and the session started with a sore throat, and that's the show must go on, as they say. But as I was listening to the game and seeing what the script entailed, I made a quick call to my ear, nose, throat guy and said, "You have an appointment later today. I expect to be very sore by the time I'm done with this session in a couple hours." They did, and I was, but I got the necessary medical attention. And I suffered for my art, but I have no regrets.
Right. That shows that you have passion and you really put in a lot of effort into playing a part. So, more
That's what they
gumption.
booked me for.
Oh yeah. Has there ever been, say, ah, I can't think of it. I'm sorry. My mind just runs blank a lot of times, and I'm kind of starstruck today. So
Yeah, it's all right. I'm just some guy.
I know. I'm just joking around. Oh, what do you think of, say, the Sonic comic books, the Sonic universe from those days?
I haven't read a lot of them. I read a couple of them just to see what was going on, but it's the kind of stuff that I'm much more interested in performing the material than reading it just as a spectator, because again, my joy comes from performing. So since I wasn't professionally voicing the comics, I didn't really read much of them.
Uh, Now, was it true that you had a few shows where you did narration?
Yeah, I was the narrator of Pokemon for a couple of seasons. Narrated a lot of promos at 4Kids TV. And through the course of my voiceover career, doing commercials and stuff, there's been lots of narration.
What's some of your favorite shows in general? Maybe top five shows that you've done.
Oh, let's see. A lot of laughs in Ultimate Muscle, a lot of laughs in Sonic Boom. More people I wish would check out Earth Eclipse, the recent podcast that I had a very dramatic turn in an episode. If you can find episodes of Gogo Riki / Kiko Riki, which has been revived recently, check those out. Those are fun. And also Viva Pinata from 4Kids TV, a bit of a lost favorite.
Oh, I'll have to actually look some of that up. That sounds very interesting to me, anyhow.
Please.
I mean, did you guys have to go off a lot of the Japanese script when it came to Sonic X? A lot of people complain that, oh, you didn't follow the script to a T. But from what I noticed, because I own the Japanese and the English version, that it seemed pretty close to me. Just a few things were edited out, not too big.
Different studios work differently with that sort of thing. One thing about 4Kids is they're not trying to do direct translations, they're doing adaptations, which means they will deviate from the script when they feel it's necessary, whether it's to comply with the American censors or just because the plot may not be as interesting as they think it is. So they will deviate with the from the original whenever necessary. Other straight anime companies are much more tied to the original. And when we're recording, we may or may not hear the original. 4Kids was not really big about listening back to the Japanese. At least the directors might have heard it, but the actors very seldom. Other studios will say, here's the original Japanese for each line, let's watch and then let's do. So each studio different. I'm happy to work either way.
Which was easier to do for Eggman, the anime or maybe the video games?
Video games a little easier because you're not really trying to match lip flap as tightly. You're still in the earlier games when we were dubbing from Japanese, it's a matter of just this is 3 seconds, make your thing 3 seconds, as opposed to doing anime where every flap has to match every word. Then the later stuff from 2010 onwards, including Sonic Boom and the game since 2010, they have been English first. So we take the lead and then everyone else has to worry about the dubbing.
That always sounds like fun to me.
Mhm.
Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for being able to come on and be a part of the show.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. And it was actually great learning about a little bit of history of 4Kids. And, because I kind of defend 4Kids a little bit because, it's in the title, it says 4Kids. It doesn't say, it's direct to anime. It's trying to get kids into the adaptation. And then when they get older, they could look into the older stuff.
That and also the fact that Al Khan, who founded the company, had 4 children. So it's a bit of a double entendre. But yeah, it was his idea was localization and merchandising, and that's where he made his money.
Pretty much. But then there was actual American-made stuff for it from 4Kids, like the 2003 Ninja Turtles.
Hmm.
I mean,
But
and
again,
yeah,
all about licensing and merchandising and marketing. That was his thing.
it
But that's
basically
business.
sell cards and toys.
Hmm. Yeah, it's business.
But it worked.
Absolutely.
Anyway, like I said, I appreciate you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to say before we close out?
Sure. If you want to look for me on social media, it's a Mike in most places. It's a Mike on Twitter. It's a Mike on Facebook. It's a Mike.com on my website. See what's going on.
All right. I'll leave a link in my description for that too.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.